What if I told you that the green onions you throw away after one use could feed your family forever? That grocery stores charge $2 to $3 for bunches that regrow infinitely on your windowsill? Americans waste over $300 million annually buying green onions that regenerate from scraps for free. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how. The money math. Green onions cost $1 to $3 per bunch containing 6 to 8 stalks at most grocery stores. Average families use 2 to 4 bunches weekly for cooking, garnishes, and salads. That's $100 to $600 spent annually on something that regrows infinitely from the parts you normally throw away. The setup cost is literally zero because you're using the white base and roots from bunches you already purchased for cooking. The return on investment is infinite because one initial $2 purchase produces green onions forever with minimal effort. This matters because green onions are among the most wasted vegetables, with people buying them, using the green tops once, then discarding the bases that contain all the regrowth potential. Your kitchen scraps become a perpetual food source instead of compost or garbage. Basic water method. The simplest method requires only store-bought green onions, any glass or jar, tap water, and a sunny windowsill. Use the green tops in your cooking while saving 2 to 3 inches of the white base with roots attached. If roots are absent or minimal, don't worry because they'll develop within 3 to 5 days in water. Trim any damaged or slimy parts from the base before starting. Fill your container with 1 to 2 inches of water and place onion bases upright with roots down. Multiple bases can share one container as long as they're not overcrowded. Position the container in bright indirect light near a south-facing window if possible. Water management is critical for success. Change the water every 2 to 3 days without exception because stagnant water breeds bacteria that rot the bases. Use room temperature water rather than cold directly from the tap. The water level should cover roots but not submerge the green parts emerging from the center. Cloudy water signals bacterial growth and requires immediate changing. The growth timeline follows a predictable pattern. Days 1 through 3 show root development and expansion as the base establishes. Days 4 through 7 reveal new green growth emerging from the center, often surprisingly fast. By days 7 through 10, the first harvest is ready when greens reach 6 to 8 inches tall. Every 7 to 10 days thereafter, you can harvest again indefinitely. Common beginner mistakes include using too much water that submerges the base, causing rot, not changing water frequently enough, allowing bacterial slime, insufficient light producing weak, spindly growth, and cutting too low near the base, which damages the growth point, preventing regrowth. Soil method. Soil growing is superior for extended production because water alone eventually depletes the stored nutrients in the base, typically after 4 to 6 weeks. Soil provides continuous nutrient availability, produces stronger, more vigorous growth with thicker stalks, requires less maintenance since you're not changing water constantly, and allows plants to grow indefinitely for months to years rather than weeks. The stalks grown in soil are noticeably larger and more robust than water-grown versions. Materials needed include any pot with drainage holes at least 4 to 6 inches deep, standard general-purpose potting soil from any garden center, and green onion bases either from the grocery store or transferred from the water method after root development. You don't need special soil or expensive containers because green onions are remarkably unfussy about growing conditions. The planting process fills the pot with soil, leaving 1 inch from the rim to prevent water overflow. Plant the bases 1 to 2 inches deep, spacing them just 1 inch apart because green onions tolerate crowding. You can fit up to 20 plants in an 8-inch diameter pot, creating abundant production from minimal space. Water thoroughly after planting to settle soil around roots, then place in the sunniest location available. Ideally 6 or more hours of direct sun daily, though they'll tolerate less. Care requirements are minimal once established. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry to the touch. typically 1 to 2 times weekly depending on pot size and environmental conditions. No fertilizer is needed for the first 2 to 3 months because potting soil contains sufficient nutrients and the bases have stored energy. After the initial period, apply diluted liquid fertilizer monthly to maintain vigorous growth. Both outdoor and indoor growing work, with outdoor plants growing significantly faster in natural sunlight and fresh air. The harvest method cuts outer leaves about 1 inch above the soil line using sharp scissors or a knife. Always leave the center growth point intact because that's where new leaves emerge. Never harvest more than 2/3 of the plant at once because too much removal stresses the plant and slows regrowth. You can harvest every 10 to 14 days once plants establish, providing steady supply without depleting the plant. Longevity in soil extends to 4 to 6 months of productive growth from individual plants before they begin to slow down. When plants become crowded, dig them up, divide the clumps, and replant the divisions as new plants, essentially propagating indefinitely. With proper management, including division and replanting, you never need to buy green onions again. Replace plants when growth slows significantly, stalks become very thin, or flowering begins, which diverts energy from leaf production. Simply restart the process with a new grocery store bunch or divisions from your existing plants. Troubleshooting problems. Slimy, rotting bases result from water not being changed frequently enough, allowing bacterial growth that decays the tissue. The solution requires changing water daily until the slime clears and trimming away any rotted portions with a clean knife. Prevention means maintaining the schedule of fresh water every 2 to 3 days without skipping. Once rot establishes, it's difficult to reverse, so prevention is critical. Yellow or brown leaf tips indicate chlorine and tap water burning the tender tissue, or excessive direct sunlight scorching the leaves. The solution uses filtered water or tap water that sat uncovered for 24 hours, allowing chlorine to evaporate, and moving the container to bright indirect light rather than harsh direct sun. Prevention lets tap water sit overnight before using it for water changes. Slow or no growth comes from insufficient light, temperatures below 60 degrees Fahrenheit, or exhausted plants that have depleted their stored energy. The solution moves plants to brighter locations, ensures room temperature stays between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and replaces exhausted plants with fresh grocery store bunches. Prevention chooses the sunniest available spot from the beginning and transitions water-grown plants to soil before they exhaust. Algae in water develops when light hits the water, and organic matter provides nutrients for algae growth. The solution changes water immediately, uses an opaque container, or wraps clear glass and paper to block light from the water. Prevention increases water change frequency and blocks light from reaching the water while ensuring the plants still receive light. Thin, weak growth results from overcrowding too many plants in one container, depleted nutrients in the water method after several weeks, or insufficient light causing etiolation. The solution separates plants into individual containers, transitions to soil for nutrient access, and increases light exposure. Prevention avoids overcrowding and transitions to soil after 4 to 6 weeks in water. Flowering occurs when plants reach maturity, experience stress, or respond to long summer day length triggering reproductive mode. The solution cuts the flower stalk immediately to redirect energy back to leaf production, or allows the plant to rest and replant a fresh base. Prevention through regular harvesting keeps plants in vegetative growth mode. Pests are rare indoors, but fungus gnats indicate overwatering, requiring soil to dry between waterings. Aphids occasionally appear and get controlled with soapy water spray. Prevention maintains good air circulation and proper watering practices. Advanced techniques. Succession planting starts new batches every 2 to 3 weeks, ensuring constant supply even when harvesting heavily from older plants. The strategy rotates older plants out as new ones establish, creating a perpetual pipeline of young, vigorous plants replacing mature, slowing ones. This prevents gaps in availability when one batch needs replacement. The hybrid water-soil method combines the advantages of both systems. Start bases in water for fast root development over 7 to 10 days, watching roots grow and new leaves emerge. Then transfer the rooted bases to soil for long-term sustained production. This approach provides the best of both worlds with quick visual results from water culture, followed by the sustained productivity soil enables. Dividing and multiplying mature plants is how one grocery store bunch becomes 20 or more plants over 3 months. Mature plants form clumps with multiple growing points visible when you dig them up. Gently separate the clump into individual plants or small groups, then replant divisions into fresh soil. Each division becomes an independent plant, exponentially multiplying your stock without purchasing anything. Outdoor growing from spring through fall produces dramatically faster growth in natural sunlight and fresh air. Plant in garden beds or large containers, and in zones 7 and warmer, plants can overwinter with mulch protection, resuming growth in spring. Peak season outdoor growing enables daily harvest from the abundant production. Container size optimization matches pot size to production goals. Small cups for water method hold 3 to 5 plants maximum before crowding issues develop. 4-inch pots accommodate 5 to 8 plants comfortably. 6-inch pots hold 10 to 15 plants with proper spacing. 8-inch pots support 20 to 30 plants in intensive spacing. Window boxes can hold 50 or more plants for serious production that supplies an entire family or provides surplus for sharing. Fertilizing strategy waits 2 months before beginning because new plants don't need supplemental nutrients initially. After that, apply diluted liquid fertilizer every 3 to 4 weeks to maintain vigorous growth. Fish emulsion is ideal because it's nitrogen-rich, supporting the leafy growth green onions produce. Over-fertilizing causes rapid growth but reduces flavor intensity, so moderation is important. Year-round production is achievable with indoor windowsill growing, providing 365 days of fresh green onions. Outdoor growing extends spring through fall in most climates. Winter indoor growing with supplemental grow lights maximizes production during short days. Rotating plants between indoor and outdoor locations seasonally optimizes growth conditions throughout the year. Varieties and what to buy. Standard green onions or scallions found in every grocery store are typically Allium fistulosum or Allium cepa varieties selected for leaf production. These are the best for regrowing because they're bred specifically to produce abundant green tops rather than forming large bulbs. Any supermarket bunch will work to start your perpetual supply. Spring onions differ slightly with larger white bases that are actually immature bulb onions harvested young. These also regrow successfully, though they eventually form small bulbs underground. Use the green tops and replant the white bulbs for continued production. Bunching onions are specifically bred to never form bulbs, producing only green tops indefinitely, making them ideal for long-term regrowing, but they're less commonly found in standard grocery stores. When buying bunches to start your supply, look for firm white bases without sliminess or soft spots. Intact roots or visible root nodes on the base indicate healthy plants that will establish quickly. Fresh green tops that aren't wilted or yellowing show the plant was recently harvested. Organic is preferred because conventional production sometimes uses growth inhibitors that could slow regrowth, though most green onions regrow regardless. Purchase from any grocery store produce section, farmers markets where plants are often healthier and more recently harvested, or Asian markets that sometimes carry bunching onion varieties specifically bred for regrowing. Avoid pre-cut tops with minimal white base because insufficient base tissue prevents regrowth. Slimy or soft bases indicate decay that will continue in water. Strong chemical smell suggests treatment that might inhibit growth. Completely dried out roots take longer to regenerate, though they usually recover with patience. The multiplication effect. The progression from one grocery store bunch to unlimited supply follows a predictable timeline. Month 1 begins with one purchase bunch containing 8 stalks that you start in water or soil. Month 2 shows those 8 plants producing continuously while you begin dividing some into 16 separate plants. Month 3 expands the 16 plants into 32 through continued division of mature clumps. Month 4 reaches 32 plants, producing more green onions than most families can consume. At this point, maintain 10 to 15 productive plants for household use and share the excess with friends and neighbors, or compost the surplus. The cost analysis over 1 year demonstrates the remarkable return. Initial investment is $2 for one grocery store bunch. Annual harvest value reaches $200 to $400 based on typical grocery store prices and average family usage. The return on investment calculates to 10,000 to 20,000% returns, among the highest of any food growing project. Time investment averages just 5 minutes weekly for watering, harvesting, and maintenance. The viral aspect of this technique spreads naturally because sharing the method costs nothing and giving away starter plants is easy. Friends see your success and want to replicate it, building community through simple, accessible gardening. This often serves as gateway to more extensive food, growing as confidence builds from this foolproof project. Beyond green onions, identical methods work for regrowing celery from the base, romaine lettuce hearts, lemongrass stalks, and leeks. Similar approaches regrow potatoes from eyes, ginger and turmeric from root pieces, and numerous other vegetables from scraps. Green onions serve as the perfect starting point for food independence, demonstrating that growing food doesn't require land, expensive equipment, or expert knowledge. One simple success leads naturally to experimenting with more crops and greater self-sufficiency. Growing unlimited green onions from grocery store scraps is the easiest, most reliable food production method available to anyone, regardless of living situation. The technique works in apartments, houses, dorms, RVs, and anywhere with a windowsill and a cup of water. The financial savings of $200 to $400 annually comes from food you're already buying, making this genuinely free money. The time investment of 5 minutes weekly fits any schedule, no matter how busy. Children love watching the rapid visible growth and learning where food comes from. Zero waste philosophy transforms garbage into a perpetual food source. Most importantly, this builds confidence that you can grow food successfully, opening doors to more extensive gardening and greater self-reliance. Start today with the green onions already in your refrigerator. Save the white bases from tonight's dinner, place them in water, and watch them grow. You'll never buy green onions again, and you'll wonder why you ever did.